super class and subclass, just remember the concept of inheritance. So we are developing some methods in one class. We developed, that means we written some code for some functions in super class. So and these functions we are reusing in another class. So that class we can call it as a subclass. That means we are deriving the properties, we are inheriting the properties from the superclass. This concept is called inheritance. So here from this picture, the superclass is shape, subclasses are square, circle, triangle. So here we define a method shape method in superclass. So this shape method we are inheriting in subclasses to draw different shapes, so that characteristics of these subclasses are different. Okay, but while using the same method we are using different shapes. Okay, so first one is square, circle, triangle. Okay, so here this is higher level entity and this is lower level entities. So normally inheritance relationship we can call it as subclass, and this we can call it as a superclass. Okay, so superclass and subclass relationship. So we have to know the difference between superclass and subclass. Whatever the methods and variables attributes you define in shape, these values we can inherit into subclasses. Okay, so this subclasses here, square, circle, triangle, these three are belongs to the shape class, and we are using the method shape method to draw the square, circle, triangle. Okay, this is the class of superclass and subclass, and this is the concept of inheritance. Okay, so where we are using these concepts, so one of the important concept is generalization. So generalization, so we can say to create generalized entity, we want to create generalized entity. So generalization, it is a process. We have to find the common attributes or common entities from the entity sets to form a new entity. This new entity is called generalized entity. Okay, so example, we have, see from this picture, savings, current, both are types of accounts, and we have some attributes. Savings account, again person name and so on, so but don't discuss about now attributes. Okay, so from this picture just you can observe what, so what are the entities here. So from this picture you can observe entities and relationship. So here initially we have savings is a type of bank account, that is one ER diagram, and current account is also a one type of account, that is also one ER diagram. So here account is common entity among those two. So here we are forming new generalized entity, that is account. So here savings account is also a account and current account is also a account. Okay, so here we are following from lower level to higher level. So then This process is also known as bottom-up approach. Okay, so we are combining the lower level elements to higher level element. Okay, we are processing. So this process we can call it as a generalization. So example, you can go for another example, you will understand clearly here. We have two small entity relational diagrams. So one is teacher, another one is student. Okay, so find the attributes here. So name, address and salary, and here name, address and grade. Now what are the common attributes here? The common attributes are name, address, here also name, address. Okay, common attributes. Now what we want to do, we want to make generalized entity connecting the two entities, both student and teacher entity. Okay, both student and teacher entity. So here I am going to take another entity is person. Person contains the attributes, only common attributes, name, address. Now I am going to connect the student entity and teacher entity without common attributes. So then you can see here the person is a new generalized entity with the attributes, the common attributes, name and attribute address. Okay, so again here student, we are establishing the relationship with person, and we are establishing the relationship with person from teacher. So student is a person which is having the attributes name and address, teacher which is having attributes name, address and salary. Okay, so this process called generalization. Generalization, very important. It uses the bottom up approach where two or more level entities combined together. So here student and teacher were combined together to form a person high level entity. Okay, so what is the use? We are avoiding common attributes from the relation, from the table or from the ER diagram. So then the schema of database size will be reduced. Database schema size will be reduced. This is also important difference. Okay, important use of generalization. So difference means when you compare with specialization, that is important difference. Okay, so here the new generalized entity can further combine together with lower level entity to create further higher level generalized entity. If it is possible, if there are any lower level entities, you can combine with them. Okay, so this process we can call it as a generalized entity. It is more like subclass superclass system. We are combining from lower levels, means these two are subclasses. We are going to generate superclass, that higher level. So this relation we can say subclass and superclass. So when there is a subclass and superclass relationship, so that inheritance is not possible. Okay, so only inheritance when possible, when you are sharing the properties from superclass to subclasses, that is higher level to lower levels, then only inheritance possible. Okay, so here we can say subclass superclass relationship. Okay, so now again I given another example. So to generalization example, so we want to create animal is generalized entity, because we have a three wild animals here, tiger, lion, elephant. So normally if you want to draw a ER diagram, means we want to draw three ER diagrams. For tiger is one, like this. Okay, for lion is one. Okay, like this we have to create. two ER diagrams, and third for elephant is a big animal and it is a wild animal. Okay, so now here animal is the common entity. This one is common, this one is common, and this one is common. Okay, now we want to make it as a generalized entity based on these three entities: tiger, lion, elephant. Okay, now we will follow from bottom. So tiger is a animal, so lion is an animal, so it establishes the relationship with the generalized entity animal. Okay, so this process also an example of generalized entity. Okay, now next concept is specialization. It is completely opposite to generalized entity. There we are trying to find out in generalization common attributes, and we are going to combine the two entities into common entity. Okay, so at higher level we are following the lower level to higher level, so that process we can call it as a bottom up approach. Specialization is completely inverse of generalization, that means it follows top down approach. Okay, so here you can see what is a top down approach. So that process we can call it as a from higher level to lower level. So we are top down approach means we are starting from the higher level entity. This higher level entity we are going to break down or dividing into more entities. Okay, okay, or you can break the system into more entities, or this entity is I am going to divide into more entities. Okay, so this system is called top down approach. This is process of specialization in entity enhanced entity relation diagram. Okay, enhanced entity relation diagram, this is called specialization. Specialization, higher level entity set may not have lower level entity set, so it is not the rule. So compulsory and must, we are going to divide that into many entities. Okay, so if it is possible we can divide, otherwise we will leave it. So it is not must to have lower level entity set. It is always applied to a single entity and results in the formation of multiple new entities. So we are going to get more entities based from single entity. Okay, that is higher level entity. Now you can say this is a super class. Okay, so this is a super class. Okay, and these three are subclasses. Now this employee, so types of employees, so there are three employees, Ram, Shyam, Mohan, but three are not belongs to the same category. Okay, so entities possess different characteristics. So he is a developer, he is a programmer, and he is an analyst. Okay, and maybe some other person, he is a project manager, have a different positions. Okay, here this employee is the super class. These three are inheriting from the properties employee. Here properties means all these are employees but possess different positions. Okay, so this relationship we can call it as super and subclass relationship, and it is a inheritance mechanism. It is a inheritance mechanism. So here you can see the example. Here we are breaking down into number of entities, that creates database schema is more. That means it is also a disadvantage. So memory size will require to store multiple entities. Okay, So now here we can see this example student. Student means student is ex-student of our college or current student of our college. Okay. So this student is broken down into two entities, ex-student and current student. Again, what I am doing, the current student is broken down into, again, so which department? So we have three departments. So one is IT, second one CSC, and third one EC. Okay, three departments. Whether belongs to one department, second department, or third department. If you want, you can again broken down into, so CSC, whether he is a first year, second year student, or third year student, or final year student. Like this, you can break down the entity into multiple entities. Then, so while breaking down, so entities requires to represent in database schema, more memory space required. Okay. So this is also another example for specialization. Now we will see the differences between generalization and specialization. So first up difference is generalization works in bottom up approach. So it is a reverse process. Specialization, it works in top down approach. Okay. So here, see, there is no inheritance in generalization. There is inheritance in specialization. So this is super subclass relationship. So this subclass and superclass relationship. Okay. So here, size of schema gets reduced. Okay. Here, size of schema gets increased because we are dividing the entity set into multiple entities, so that requires more schema size. Okay, so automatically many entities, that means size of the schema will also require more. Okay, and see here, we will normally apply generalization process on group of attributes or group of entities. So here, group means union of entities. Okay, and we can apply specialization only on single entity, and we are breaking that single entity into multiple entities. This process we can call it as a top down approach, and this process we can call it as a bottom up approach. Okay, so the same definition we written here, we will start the process from two or more lower level entity sets to produce higher level entity sets. This process called bottom up approach. Okay, here higher level entity set we will start, and to form a lower level entity sets. Okay, so this process is called top down approach. Okay, and these are the important differences between generalization and specialization. Okay, so generalization is a process, starts with the number of entity sets, and it creates high level entity with the help of some common features. In generalization, the difference and similarities between lower entities are ignored to form higher entity. Okay, so that's why we can call it as a subclass superclass relationship. So example, you can take shape here, square, circle, triangle. Okay, so these three achieves the different characteristics. Okay, but only what we are inheriting only the method shape, but type of shape is different. Okay, so that's the process of generalization. Okay, so I hope everybody understand the generalization and specialization difference. Okay, now another important one is aggregation in enhanced entity relational diagram. It is also important. What is aggregation? Okay, so normally when we are performing an operation, that will not give a sense. Okay, sometimes we will draw a ER diagram, but it will not give a more sense, okay, and it will not give a good relationship. If we want to make it sense, then we will seek for another relationship, okay. That means it is a process in which a single entity alone is not able to make sense in a relationship. So the relationship of two entities acts as one entity. So this process I can call it as aggregation. Okay. So try to understand. Example you can see from this picture. So better this you feel little bit difficult. So see here from this picture. So I went to hospital to meet a doctor. Okay, I have some problem. So doctor want to diagnose. Okay, so here patient. Doctor want to diagnose patient. Okay, so how he will diagnose patient? So normally this is the relation. Okay, so this is the relation. Okay, so what doctor will do? He will diagnose. Okay, but how he will diagnose? So he need some history of patient. So by writing, filling or filing of some data, okay, in the file. So when he is a new patient, so he want to ask some questions and he want to note down the history. So here, when this relation, okay, joined with this, so then it becomes a sense, okay. So here doctor diagnosed the patient based on filing the data or filling the history, and he want to know about the patient and everything, what is the problem and previously which tablets or something, so and so history he written on the his prescription slip, and then he will write a medicine. Okay, so directly he will not diagnose. Okay, so here normally we will draw with a simple ER diagram, patient diagnosis doctor or doctor diagnosed patient. Okay, but here when there is a relationship patient history, then doctor will diagnose easily. Okay, doctor will diagnose the patient easily. Okay, so here the aggregation is a process to make an entity or the relation is a sense and it is a meaningful. Okay, with the relationship of two entities act as one entity. Okay, so normally we can say this relationship, in other terms, we are embedding the relationship inside the ER diagram. But here we want to show it. What is that embedded relation? We want to show it the embedded relation. This process we can call it as aggregation. Okay. So example this, you see, I have a coaching center in Guntur. Okay. So in Bradipeta fourth line. Okay. So coaching center, and I am going to deliver so many courses. So I will offer so a lot of discounts. But what is the entity here? Center offers course. But here with center with course I cannot do anything. If somebody want to inquire and they will join, so then it makes a sense. Okay, here students inquire about courses and students inquire about coaching center. So when he visit the coaching center, so then he will think about what are the courses and what offers they are offering. Okay, when you think all these relations, then only it makes a sense. It makes a sense. Okay, but here on the outside we will show it is a single entity with ER diagram. Okay, so this is an example, another example of aggregation. See here how we want to show in a flow chart ER diagram representation. Okay, so here entity A and entity B, normally we will give a relation 1. Okay, here this relation 1 makes No sense. When it will be sensible, so it will be when the relation 2 is added with the entity C. So then this relation makes sense, and we can think it as a only single entity. So here the aggregation operation means, we are adding one more relations to the existing relation. Okay, so this process is known as aggregation. See, in the ER diagram, A and B are the two entities that can be considered to not operate on its own. Hence, entities are connected to form a new relationship R1. Okay, now R1 is created, relationship 1 is created. So this is a participation line, and this is also participation line, but not the total participation. Okay, so when aggregation is applied on R1 to create the new relationship R2, this one. Okay, when R2 needs a new entity to keep functionality in a usable state, so the new entity C is formed. Okay, as a result of aggregation operation on this ER model, this relation with R2 and we are embedded into the relation with R1. Okay, so now this process we can say aggregation. Okay,